Candyman, 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 Candyman. Welcome to a brand new episode of Movie Reviews and Backstories. If you're new here, I'm Karen and I'm from Ocean Chicks Films. Tonight I'm going to be looking at the horror movie Candyman from 1992. Written and directed by Bernard Rose and starring Virginia Madsen and Tony Todd. Based on Clive Barker's short story called The Forbidden. Candyman from 1992. A Chicago graduate student named Helen Lyle, played by Virginia Madsen, is completing her thesis on urban legends and folklore. This leads her to the legend of the Candyman, the ghost of an artist and son of a slave, murdered in the 19th century because of his forbidden relationship with the daughter of a wealthy white man. While researching this story, Helen learns more about the story of Candyman, played by Tony Todd, and finds herself in a bizarre reincarnation experience that leads to tragedy. Directed by Bernard Rose. Virginia Madsen is an American actress. She's been in a whole whack of things. I remember her when she was in the movie Fire with Fire. I just loved that movie. And also, of course, The Haunting in Connecticut, another one that I own that I love too. And more recently, in 2019, The Swamp Thing. Candyman is one of those films that, you know, if you love horror, you gotta watch it. It's terrifying, it's fun, it's captivating, you get engrossed with all of the storylines and the characters. It's kind of a neat concept. It's got some very cool effects. The cinematography is really good. I really like this film a lot, and if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's very much a commentary on the struggle of people in poverty, race, and class. There were two standalone sequels, the first one being Candyman, The Farewell to Flesh from 1995, and Candyman, Day of the Dead from 1999. More recently, in 2019, they announced that director Jordan Peele would be doing a direct sequel to the 1992 film. It's going to be put out by Universal and MGM and directed by Nia DaCosta. And it's going to be taking place in the Cabrini Green housing project, just like before, that once stood there in Chicago. It got delayed a bunch of times, and I heard they wanted to put it out when people could go back to the theaters and watch it. They've set a date for August of this year. So Tony Todd will be returning as Candyman, just like he was in the other two sequels, as well as Vanessa Estelle Williams. She'll be back too, but unfortunately Virginia Madsen won't be in this one. She wasn't in the other two sequels either. And so Virginia will be replaced by actress Cassie Kramer this time. So let's look a little bit more in depth at the story from the original film, in case there are some of you out there that haven't seen it yet. The alleged urban myth, the Candyman, is a spirit who was horrifically murdered, tortured and murdered, all because he hooked up and fell in love with the daughter of this really wealthy white man. And they were gonna have a baby together actually as well. And so the people in that group got together, cornered him, and because he was an artist, he had his right hand cut off, and in place of that they jammed a hook into his hand. So throughout the movie you can see he's walking around with this hook for a hand, which adds to that, the fear, the scariness of the whole thing. And there's bees in this movie, and the idea behind that is that he was tied up by these people and smeared with honeycomb from a hive that was nearby with honey, and then the bees attacked him and stung him to death. So if you're afraid of bees, this might not be the movie for you, but it's a pretty cool idea. So as you can imagine, in the afterlife, he's pretty pissed and, you know, tries to get revenge on everybody. You know, it all happened because he's a black man and he was the son of a slave, and the people of the town didn't think it was appropriate for him to be, you know, connecting with this woman, even though it was the love of his life and she loved him as well, and they had a child coming too. Very sad, very tragic. I think the whole storyline, even though it's a horror film and there's lots of, you know, blood, guts, and gore, it's still very intriguing, the storyline, and you can't help but fall in love with the characters and root for them. And so Helen, Virginia Madsen, is this reincarnation of this woman from the 19th century that Candyman absolutely adored and loved. So Candyman, Tony Todd, is trying to get her back to come to his side through death so that they can be together, sort of partners in crime, if you will. So through her thesis, she finds out about the Candyman legend and she becomes obsessed with the story. She doesn't really seem to know that she was reincarnated as this woman. I really wish that Virginia was in this new sequel, but you know, that's how things go sometimes, and I'm sure the new actress will be really great at the part 2, and I still want to see this film anyway. They actually used real bees in this film, which is kind of crazy. I don't know if I could have done what they did, but Tony and Virginia actually have scenes where they're just covered in bees. There's a part where they're like in their mouths and that kind of thing, and apparently I read they used immature bees that don't have their venom yet, so there wasn't a chance of them getting stung, but still, I don't know if anyone could pay me enough to do that, but very effective in the movie for sure. And as an extra added precaution, Tony had a dental dam put inside of his mouth because there's a part where they're like all crawling in his mouth and coming out. And he did that just so that they could stop, as an extra precaution to stop the bees from going down his throat. I think I'd have nightmares from that experience for the rest of my life, actually. I love bees. I think what bees do is amazing. We need the bees to live and survive. But as a kid, I was pretty scared of getting stung. I got stung one time, and that's all it took. As an adult, I've kind of learned to live with them, and I know they're doing a process and they're a necessary thing in the ecosystems in the world, but still, having that many bees coming out of my mouth, I don't think so. I don't think so. And this was a cool fun fact that I found out. There are parts in the movie where Virginia is in character and she's in a trance-like state, and they actually hypnotized her for those moments, the director. And that's why you have that sort of look. Now, nobody knows for sure if she wasn't just acting or not, but it sure does look genuine. You got to look for those parts in the film. Very cool. What a nice touch. But I read that she got to a point where she was like, yeah, no more. We're not doing this anymore, because she was completely unaware of what was going on when she was in it. And she didn't like that very much. But I think it adds so much more to the film. I really do. I'm looking forward to seeing the latest movie in the Candyman universe. That'll be coming out in August of this year. It'll be fun to go to the movie theater to see it too. I do wish Virginia Madsen was in this one, but Tony Todd will be back as Candyman, and that's pretty cool too. I really like this movie a lot. So for my review, I'm going to give it 4 shark bites. It was that good. You should watch it if you haven't seen it yet, and watch the other 2 as well. Make it like a marathon. 3 movies in one night. That's always a fun thing to do. Okay guys, I think that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up because that helps me out a lot, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel because then you can watch more videos like this one. And recipes too. Plus, I'd love for you to be part of our crew, because then we can chat and hang out and have fun. So we'll see you again next week with more vegan recipes and movie chat. And I have a big announcement. I am working on a horror comic book cookbook. I'm so excited. There's gonna be lots of great recipes. It's gonna be an ebook format, and I will have more details about that on my next video on Wednesday. So stop back for that. I'm so excited. I can't even tell you. It's gonna be super cool. And once again, thank you guys so much for stopping by. I absolutely love you all. See you again Wednesday. Bye guys.